So I wanted to share with you my experience with almost completely
I've
losing
been
my
expecting you.
PlayStation account. Never mind the World of Warcraft. This is just like background shit while you hear me talking rather than just staring at a blown up version of myself taking up the whole screen. Nobody wants to see that, believe me. So a couple of days ago, I was playing WWE 2K22. Not that the game I was playing mattered. And out of nowhere on my PS5, I got kicked out of my game. And it said something to the effect of, because I can't check the notification message, something along the lines of user ID has been switched. So I started to panic a little bit, but not too much. I was just more confused more than anything else. So I went and checked my email, and lo and behold, two-step authenticator had been removed from my account. And about 3 minutes later, the email associated to my account had been changed. So naturally, I spazzed out. I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? And I was just in a state of shock. So I contacted PlayStation support via their online. And they were incredibly helpful. I got my account within 5 minutes. I started asking some questions. Well, how did they get through, the authenticator? Oh, you got to make sure you don't share your password. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to share my password. Yeah, okay. That's not what happened. I thought that my authenticator app got hacked because there's the authenticator app where every couple of seconds you get a randomly generated number. And this can apply for World of Warcraft, your Steam account, PlayStation, hell, your bank account, any aspect of your life. Some people that work have an authenticator app to be able to get into certain programs and whatnot. So I was really confused as to how they did it. But then I wanted to share with you this information because I think it's really important and it may help you. First of all, if it does happen to you, don't panic. But what I will say with PlayStation is you should never keep your credit card or your PayPal account tied to it. So I have no payment methods now. And even if they do get in and they make some changes to your name, it doesn't matter. All of that can be reverted. So I got back into my account. Still scratching my head how it happened. I changed my password. I redid my authenticator app, and within a couple of hours, I lost my account again. So here's what I did now. Second time around, I contacted support. Now they didn't want to help me. They were saying, oh, due to security reasons, and then the chat would close. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So I went and saved my chat, like the chat log, so that I could read what the big paragraph was that they sent me before the online window with the chat with the agent automatically closed. And he did this multiple times, and it was basically to the effect of, multiple times you have contacted us. Did we not already help you? Whether or not that was the tone that they had when they were typing, I don't know, but it wasn't very nice. And I wasn't able to call them either because now it was like 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I couldn't call their actual support. And I very much felt like I was being dismissed. I was completely besides myself. Like, this is my livelihood. A lot of people know this is no secret. I'm on disability and I do YouTube full-time, but it only pays casual part-time like income to help supplement. And I have a lot of games, and some people know I have a lot of games, so it could have just been that, over the years of me streaming, people knowing my email address, that was a weakness. So that is the second point I want to make with today's, history lesson, if you will. Number one, let's recap. Do not keep any payment methods with any Sony PlayStation account whatsoever. Number two, use an email address that nobody knows even exists to begin with. Those are the two most important things. The third and final lesson is don't use SMS, aka text messaging, to receive your authentication codes to get into your account. Your phone number can be spoofed more easily than your actual authenticator can be spoofed. Okay? So no payment methods. Use a unique email if you can, or make sure no one's ever known what your email is. And use the real authenticator app with the Google Authenticator. Those are the things that are important. I'm going to tell you why the guy was able, or the girl. I'm assuming it's a guy because it's a guy thing. That took my account. Was, and I shouldn't be telling you this in some ways, but I need to in order to help you. If a person knows your email, even if you change it, your account is still at risk. Why? Because here's where Sony needs to change their game. They ask you what email was used to create said PSN account. So obviously the hacker knows my original email, so I can keep changing the email, the password, the online PSN ID. It doesn't matter because they ask you the generic questions. What's the last 4 numbers of your bank debit card if you've ever had one on your account or your PayPal? Well, it shows you that anyways when you log in. All the first numbers are little asterisks, but the last 4 digits, everybody can see that. What was the last 4 digits of your phone number? That's on your account as well. So naturally, the hacker's going to know that. Do you have access, they say, to that email address? Well, no, they don't, because Google is a lot more secure than PlayStation. And nobody can, well, I shouldn't say nobody. I'm sure if somebody really wanted to, they could probably do it. But to actually true blue hack it. So to be super technical, here's what I'm trying to get at. Through the means of social engineering, aka being very suave and convincing, I don't think I actually got hacked in the traditional sense with, like, you know, programs and doing algorithm with codes and duplicating my authenticator so that they can lock in at their beck and call. I think they just got lucky, talked to some dum-dum at the Sony PlayStation customer care service, and when he said, no, I don't have access to that email, well, the agent said, well, what's the email that we can send you the information to? Well, that's the new email. That's the hacker's email. So they gave access to my frickin' account. Not once, but twice in the span of 3 hours. So now when I finally got on the phone with them yesterday at noon Eastern time, I was like literally getting chest pains. I was so stressed out. And if you think I'm blinking a lot now, you should have seen me yesterday. Okay, if you've ever seen the band Blink 182, I should have been on the cover of their music album. I don't know what this was, but anyhow, I spoke to the lady there, and she was super kind. She didn't give me a hard time. I ended up ranting on and on and on, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But it took about 45 minutes to get through my rant, but I gave some very in-depth, pieces of information, things that I felt were important to add to my account. And I said, you guys and girls are too loose with your security questions. It's too easy. Did somebody at such and such a time ask to have my authenticator removed? So she couldn't tell me that. And she said it won't be until the middle of May until the fraud investigation team here at Sony Entertainment Canada are going to be able to review your account. They're going to find out why it was so easy for you to lose your account. Not once, but twice. And I was like, oh, wow. Because the second time it happened, I forgot to mention this, they went online and they deactivated my console. So my PlayStation 5 was a paperweight. I couldn't access any of my games whatsoever because it was no longer my home console and I wasn't logged in with my PSN ID. So I had lost everything. That is the power of the world that we live in now in the digital age. A PlayStation 2, an original Xbox, you wouldn't have had those issues. Nothing was even connected to the internet. You can't hack something you don't have access to, right? But since, the Xbox 360 and, the PS3, I got to stop saying, a lot because, I say that a lot and I really hate it. It drives me nuts. I almost said it again. Since the internet era, it's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And it blew me away how easy it happened. So again, when I shared my story, I said I want it so that when somebody wants to remove my authenticator or change my email or make my home console to something else, because you can only switch that every like 6 months. And I was afraid that I was going to have to wait 6 months. But they told me, No. Once we reverse everything, you won't have to do that. And I said, well, that's good because I would be really upset. They said that they'll just revert it back, wait till the middle of the month. So a couple of hours later, I got an email to my regular email. And they reset my password, and they gave me another one to say verify account. So I changed the password. Actually, funny enough, I think it asked me to change the password before verifying, but whatever. It all worked out. And now I'm a little bit more confident that it's potentially not going to happen again, only because I switched emails. I just made a brand new email, but again, they could call in. There's extra security measures now on my account. I think they're going to have it so that I have to call in if I want to start removing authenticators and all this kind of stuff. Though, like I said, I was able on my own to log in, change the email. It was very simple. Once I was into the account, I could just easily do it. It's bypassing, not authenticator. But again, how do you do that? Again, I don't want to tempt anybody to try, but I think it's next to near impossible to do the real authenticator cloning. Okay, not the SMS text messaging thing. That's much easier to do, although the average person would never be able to do it. So when I got my account back, like I said, I was very relieved, but it gave me, and I don't, yeah, I do like to joke around about mental health stuff because I suffer from so much of it, which is why I'm on disability to begin with. It gave me almost like a mild PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I'm being very serious because my YouTube is my life. It's my everything. It's the first time in my life that I'm doing something for myself, that I'm legally doing something for myself, whereas in the past wasn't so legal. And, I got caught and got into a little bit of trouble doing some minor stuff, nothing too crazy. Don't start thinking I was like a hitman or something like that, okay? Even though I look like the guy from Hitman, the video game. Maybe a little bit. No? Whatever. Maybe an older, fatter version. And so I'm very proud of myself with what I've done. And obviously to have it potentially taken away from you literally at the blink of an eye, or in my case, the blink of 100 eyes in a second, it's very disheartening. It's gut-wrenching. And to be able to so easily lose access to your gaming machine with all your games on it, and not only lose your account, not even having the ability to play your game. I couldn't get back into my wrestling game. I mean, the first time I got hacked, I did, but that's only because the guy went online and did not sign out of all devices and deactivate everything from being the home console, because you can only have one per account, I think. Like one PS4, one PS5 can be like your home account or something like that. So, anyways, I'm back in. I'm happy, but I'm constantly checking my email to see if that thing is going to come back. And I'm very disappointed, but yet, I said it again, but yet happy at the same time with the customer service, because I wasn't supposed to get access to my account, was the whole point, until like the 13th or 14th of May. But within just a few hours of talking to them, they automatically did it. So I think what happened, and I'm speculating here, this is not official. All right, this guy's been around with us for a couple of decades, whatever, however long it's been. And we trust this guy. He spoke to us. He gave us so much information. We're not even going to tell him about it. We're just going to send him the email. Let's give him access back to his account, at least in his PlayStation 5. While that's going on, let's lock everything so that nobody can contact customer care to be removing anything. They're probably going to have to call in to do that, and they're going to do their further investigative work. And in the middle of May, I will more than likely receive an email with their findings. What did they discover? Was it the fault of a person? Was it an inside job? It probably was, but not in a malicious way. I'm not saying this was maliciously done now. That's not what I'm saying. The incompetency of this person or people that gave a random stranger my account due to too loose of security measures. And as a result, they've now made my account stronger. That's now what's happened. nobody can, I shouldn't say nobody, knock on wood, but nobody can just easily try and take my account now. Unless you jump in through the window and you kick my ass and you take this out of my possession, it is highly unlikely that you're going to be able to remove the authenticator. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's improbable. Okay? Trying to sound smart. Didn't really get far in high school. Okay. Oh, and the girl on the phone, I made her laugh quite a bit. I said, I gotta make light of the situation, because I said it again. Because as dramatic as this is for me, there's a lot worse things going on in the world. And I did actually say this. I said it's not funny, but there's the whole thing, going on. I said it again with Russia and Ukraine. My situation could be a lot worse. It could be a lot better, but it could be much, much worse. And all that did was made me remember, not realize. I had already realized it. It made me remember. Don't forget. Life would still go on. Something would have happened, and I'm sure I would have somehow gotten back on my feet. It would have taken a while. It would have been painful financially, but I would have survived. And I'm surprised that I handled it as well as I did, given that I don't handle stress well at all. It's just not my strong point whatsoever. Should we go here? Yeah, I'm almost done talking anyways. I don't really have much else to say. I'm going to try to recap this. Don't use SMS text messaging. Use an actual authenticator app from Google for your two-step verification. Use an email that you don't use for anything else. And do not save any payment methods in the unlikely event that they're just able to go hog wild and buy a bunch of games. That would be very devastating. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but I've heard of stories of people online getting their accounts taken a couple of times, and they change their email, they do some stuff, they're convinced that someone's cloning their authenticator app. I don't think that that's what's happening. I really don't. And the reason for that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because when you authenticate the authenticator app, you get a QR code that you scan with your phone. Well, once you click next and you punch in the code to set it, to solidify it, that QR code disappears. It's nowhere to be found. You can't just get it back. I mean, I make screenshots of them and I save them on my computer, but you can't access it. You can't scan it. Now, in theory, if someone was, in my window and they zoomed in with their camera app and I still had the QR code on the screen, they could duplicate it. But if you don't know the QR code, you don't have that physical thing to scan with your phone, you can't just randomly start punching in numbers on the authenticator from the Google app. It doesn't work that way. That's why I say it's probably not impossible to clone it, but improbable. I'm sure some of the top guys in the world would probably be able to do some wild things and do it, but I'm a nobody at the end of the day. I'm not a high-profile target. I don't think people would put in that much effort into doing that. But it's a game of cat and mouse. It's constantly back and forth. But I have faith that my authenticator kept me safe. The dum-dums at Sony did not. They violated me. They allowed me to be violated twice. Within a few hours, I didn't get a chance to recover. So, as a result of all of this, something good really came of it. I was able to test myself mentally to not have a complete mental breakdown and end up in the hospital like I probably would have over less years ago. And it actually really did, no word of a lie, it made my account more secure. It's going to be more problematic if I want to go in and start making some changes. If I can't log into the account and I have to contact customer support, they're going to give me a harder time, which is good. And again, why I feel it was them that did it, by accident, by being foolish, by being oblivious, is that they told me that someone on my behalf had contacted them multiple times over the past couple of days. And I had only contacted them 3 times. Like, twice, and then I kept getting hung up on, and then I did another time, then they hung up on me, and then I never tried again, then I tried calling, but they were off. Yeah, so, yeah, about 2 or 3 times on my part, but they said, yeah, there was a lot more than that. So that's how I know. A true hacker wouldn't have needed to talk to anybody, like I said. So I'm trying to share with you why I feel my theory is correct. So that gives me peace of mind as well, knowing that. And it should give you peace of mind as well to know that regardless of what happens, you lose everything. You can't get in. It happened a couple of times. Your account gets locked or temporary banned, or it doesn't become your home console anymore, and you had already switched it and you can only do it every 6 months. Call them. Remain calm above all else, and you will prevail. Because if I can do it, there's no reason nobody else can. Don't give them attitude. Don't yell at them. Don't curse at them. I've heard of some people not being able to get access back to their accounts and having little, not favors, but little things done back to their account, like being able to have the home console 6-month timer removed. She told me it's done automatically. So for anybody who didn't have it, I've seen some people's conversations. They were showing it. They were flipping out. They were swearing. Maybe the person at Sony was like, hey, we don't need this kind of verbal abuse. And that was it. So you don't always know the whole story if the person is not sharing with you the whole story. I think I've made this video long enough, longer than it needed to be, but it feels good to rant, to ramble about absolutely nothing, but at the same time to try and share knowledge that helped me get through a very stressful time, and to ease your mind that if this happens to you, it's honestly not as big of a deal as you think. If you have payment methods, that potentially could be. It's hard to say because I think they need the CV number on the back of the card. I don't know. It's definitely an extra risk having your payment information on there. So due to the lack of confidence I have in Sony, I'm done with the payment methods, like I said. And if in some unlikely way I get hacked again, this isn't like being dramatic, I am absolutely jumping ship. I mean, I'm above water. I'm on a wyvern right now, so I'm doing okay. But I will jump ship, and I will get back on the Xbox bandwagon. I won't really have much of a choice. I could maybe make a new account. I have a friend of mine that said he might be able to help me out with a couple games and something like that. But for now, I'm good. I hope you're all doing well considering how wacky the world is. If you like the video, thumbs up. Always helps. The algorithm. Comment, call me a bald pumpkin head or an egghead or a wiener with ears. Seriously, do it. Because the more you comment, you're scratching. It's like you're knocking at the door. You're more likely to wake somebody up if you keep banging at the door than if you just do a little knock and that's it. It's a bit of a weird analogy there, but you get the idea. So do that. And subscribe if you want. If you don't want to, whatever. I don't care, honestly. It'll just naturally take its course. Some people will subscribe, some won't. Probably more won't, especially from a video like this. If this is the first time you watching me, it's not exactly a great introduction to the channel, but that's okay. Because I'm having fun. These types of videos where I just ramble about anything. honest to God, are my number one favorite videos to make, along with my cringy Batman videos. Take care, and perhaps I shall see some of you in the next video. Bye for now.